Hey everybody, I'm Technohead and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be continuing my series, taking a look at the values of classic video games and how they've changed over time. If you've been watching along with us, then you already know that we've covered a lot of classic systems, including the Atari 2600, the Intellivision, the ColecoVision, the Vectrex, the Odyssey 2, the Atari 5200, the Bally Astrocade, and the list goes on and on. If you haven't seen those videos, they're going to be available on my channel in a playlist that will collect them all together so you can binge to your heart's content. And today we're going to be taking a look at another game from that powerhouse of classic gaming, Atari, with the Atari 7800. The Atari 7800 is a system that came out a little bit too late, and unfortunately it went up against the Nintendo Entertainment System and the Genesis, and it just didn't have a library that compelled, since many of the games were arcade games from several years before. It did have a few great titles that were unique to the system, and personally I like my Atari 7800. I think there's fantastic games on it like Ninja Golf and Food Fight, and personally I would say if you find a 7800 you should pick it up and try it out. Really, the only thing that doesn't stand up today is the sound, because they use the same sound chips from the Atari 2600. So compared to other systems that came out around the same time, it just doesn't hold up in terms of sound. But the games are fun to play, and it's definitely a great system, and I'm super excited to be taking a look at it today. So what are we doing today? Well, I have a book that's called Collecting Classic Video Games by Billy Galaxy. This book was published in 2002 and included a price guide of several classic video game systems and their software. We'll be taking those prices from 2002 and adjusting them for inflation, so we'll have a good idea of what they would actually have been if we were seeing them today. And then we're going to compare those prices to prices on pricecharting.com so we can see if, over the last 20 years, the value of these games have gone up over time or gone down over time or stayed the same, which they do in some cases. So if you're like me and you've got a box full of Atari 7800 games and you've got a soft spot in your heart for this poor system that just came out too late and couldn't compete against Nintendo and Sega, then stick around, because we're going to be looking at the top 25 most valuable Atari 7800 games and see how their prices have changed from 2002 to 2022. I will also be displaying the rarity of each game based on the rarity listings at rarityguide.com. Now, these rarities range from 1 to 100, and for the most part, common games are going to be around a 30, and really rare games will be between an 80 or 90 on the list. I didn't make up these rarity listings, this is just what's on the website, but I thought it would be interesting to include rarity so you would have some context about whether or not that has an impact over the game's value or not. Starting out the list at number 25 is an extremely rare game for the Atari 7800. This is Water Ski. Now, back in the day, water ski was very rare and very expensive. It was going for about $149 in 2002, but in recent times, the price has come down quite considerably, and a completed box copy of Water Ski is going for about $25 on price charting right now, and that's a decrease in value of nearly 34%. That's followed by Tomcat F-14 Flight Simulator at number 24. This is a first of the many flight simulator games that we're going to be covering today. This game is a little weird to play with just 2 buttons on the 7800 controller. Back in the day it was $48, and today a copy of Tomcat F-14 is going to cost you about $43, which is a decrease in value of 26%. This game has a rarity of 48. That's followed by another flight simulator game, F-18 Hornet at number 23. Back in the day, a complete in-box copy of F-18 Hornet would cost you about $58, which was, pretty expensive back then. And today, the price has actually gone up slightly to $60, which is a 3% increase in value. Not bad. This is followed up at number 22 by Super Skateboarding. I was pretty surprised by Super Skateboarding when I was playing it for the video game capture here. This is a pretty fun, almost like puzzle game that involves skateboarding. Back in the day, this was $58, And today, a complete in-box copy of Super Skatbordin is going to cost you $82, which is a 41% increase in value for a game that has a 51% rarity on rarityguide.com. Then we have disgraced baseball player Pete Rose with Pete Rose Baseball at number 21. This game was also $58 back in the day in 2002 for a complete in-box copy. Today, this game, which is not extremely rare, is going for about $90 complete in box, and that's a 55% increase in value over the last 20 years. Next up is a fantastic Atari arcade conversion, Xenophobe. This game came out on the Nintendo Entertainment System, but the version on 7800 is also pretty good. It was $25 back in the day, and today a complete in-box copy of Xenophobe goes for about $41, and that's a 64% increase in value for Xenophobe. At number 19, we have a classic microcomputer game, Impossible Mission. Impossible Mission features killer robots and secret files. It's a pretty fun game, and on the Atari 7800, it's no exception. It was $42 back in the day, but in 2022, a copy will cost you about $70 complete in box, and that's a 57% increase in value for a game that has a very big rarity of 89. At number 18, conveniently enough, we have Mean 18 Ultimate Golf. This game was going for about $65 back in the day for this pretty standard golf game. You know, nothing to see here. It's a game of golf. But today, it's going for about $110, and that's a 69% increase in value for a game that has about an 81 in rarity on rarity.com. At number 17, we've got Motorcycle. Motorcycle is a motorcycle racing game. I feel like it's kind of inspired by Road Rash. This game was $42 back in the day, and today a copy of Motorcycle is going to cost you about $75, and that is a 79% increase in value. Motorcycles followed up at number 16 by Sentinel. Sentinel was one of the only, I think the only light gun games that ever came out for Atari 2600. And this is the 7800 version, which is an upgrade from that. It was $83 back in 2002, and today a copy of Sentinel is going to cost you $161, which is a 94% increase in value for a game that is so rare, it's not even listed on rarityguide.com. Then we see Planet Smashers, and Planet Smashers feels very similar to Astro Smash on the Intellivision to me. It's kind of a cross between Asteroids and Space Invaders. This game was going for $50 back in 2002, but today it goes for about $100, and that is exactly a 100% increase in value for this game that is a 74 rarity. Next, we have another game that also appeared on the Nintendo Entertainment System. This is Ikari Warriors. Back in 2002, a copy of Ikari Warriors on 7800 would go for $65. Not a bad price at all. But today, a copy of Ikari Warriors, complete in box, goes for about $161 according to price charting, and that's a 148% increase in value over time. This is followed up by an Atari favorite, Summer Games from Epix. This game was pretty common, and so back in the day in 2002, it was going for about $25. However, today in 2022, this game it's going for about $64 or so, and that's a 156% increase in value. Double Dragon, an arcade classic, an undeniable arcade classic, is coming in at number 12. Back in 2002, this 7800 port of the arcade classic was going for about $50. and that's not a bad price. This game is very hard on the 7800. Today it's going for about $129, which is a 158% increase in value over time for Double Dragon. Number 11, we have another classic arcade game. This is Rampage. Rampage on the 7800 is very similar to, similar versions of the time, similar to the NES version, of course. This is going for about $50 back in 2002, and today, if you have a complete in-box copy of Rampage for the 7800, it's going for about $140, which is a 180% increase in value for this game that has an 88% rarity. Then at number 10, we've got another microcomputer classic, Commando, very famous on the C64, for example. The 7800 version is going for $42 back in the day, which is nothing to sniff at. But today, a copy of Commando, complete in box, will go for $130, and that's a 210% increase in value for a game that has an 81% rarity. Then we have Fatal Run at number 9. This is a game that's very similar to Atari's Road Blaster game, which has a pretty good port to Lynx, for example. This game features, kind of pole position style gameplay. It was $42 back in 2002. Today, a copy of Fatal Run goes for about $130, and that's a 210% increase in value for an 88 rarity game. That's followed up by Basketbrawl. And the thing I like about Basketbrawl is it looks like there's kind of industrial band standing in the background watching you play a game of street ball. This game was going for a very low $25 back in 2002, but today this game that is relatively rare for the 7800 is going for about $80, and that's a 220% increase in value over time. That's followed up by, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the extremely rare Tank Command. I don't know why, but Tank Command is one of the most sought after games for the 7800. It's a pretty standard sort of Ikari Warriors, but in a tank style game. $162 back in the day, and today it's going for $522. That is a 222% increase in value for the extremely rare Tank Command. Next up, we have the bizarre game Midnight Mutants featuring Grandpa from the Munsters. This game was $42 back in the day, and it's a pretty unusual game filled with spooks and specters. It's got a good soundtrack. And today a copy of this would go for about $160, which is 281% increase in value for a game that is not the most rare game on the list, but still rare at 68. Then Nintendo rears its ugly head. Here we go. This is Mario Brothers at number 5, and this game was $25 back in the day. This is a pretty standard version of Mario Brothers, the original Mario Brothers game, and today it goes for about $100, and that's a 300% increase in value for the classic game Mario Bros. At number 4, we've got another game that was a huge game on NES. This is Kung Fu Master. This game is going for about $58 back in the day, and compared to the NES version, I have to admit, it's not as good. The controls are not as tight, and some of the gameplay is a little strange. This game goes for $404 today. That's a 298% increase in value for a game that has a 68% rarity on rarityguide.com. Number 3, we have one of the other light gun games. This game is Alien Brigade. Alien Brigade is kind of an Operation Wolf style light gun game. The big difference being that it has aliens in it. Back in 2002, this game was going for about $25, but today it's had a 600% increase in value, and a complete in-box copy will cost you $175 for Alien Brigade. That's followed by Scrapyard Dog at number 2. This is a game that benefits from the fact that it was extremely inexpensive back in the day. It's kind of a weird game, has sort of a early PC game feel. This game was going for $2 back in the day, and today it's going for about $85, which means that it had a 150% increase in value. It's not very rare, but it was very valuable. And what's coming in at number 1? Let's see. Let's see here. Oh yeah, one of the best games on 7800, Ninja Golf. Now this game back in the day was not very rare, and it was very cheap. You could get a copy of this game for $2 back in the day, and that's a great deal because this is a fantastic game. But today, a copy of Ninja Golf in box is going to go for about $157. So if you bought a copy back in the day for $2, you'd be sitting pretty because that's a 7,750% increase in value. And there you have it. Those are the top 25 most valuable Atari 7800 games from 2002 to 2022. What did you think? Was there anything on there that surprised you, or any of your favorite games left off the list? Let me know in the comments and we'll start a conversation about this classic system. If you found this video entertaining, then you might find some of the other videos in this series entertaining as well. So I'd invite you to go to my channel and click on the playlist that collects all of these classic system value videos together so you can watch them all and get an idea for how the prices have changed for all these classic video game systems over time. And while you're there, you might as well click on the subscribe button so you can be notified when the next video in this series is released. And as long as you're sticking around clicking on things, why not click that like button too? I'd really appreciate it. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching the video. My name's Technohead, and we'll see you next time.
10, 9, 8, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engines running, commit, liftoff. We are so sorry, 11:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chief Conrad reports that your program is